Donald Duck was very high strung.
But when he laughed, it was always like a sarcastic type of like, you're a fucking idiot laugh, you know?
I don't ever think I've ever heard him laugh. I hope that wasn't a fart.
I mean, listen, I'm getting a little gossy.
Hey, yo, okay.
To start this off with the Donald Duck laugh.
Is that what he sounds like? What's poppin', gang? It's your boy JB here once again, and with another episode of the That's That on That podcast. I have to the... Are you on my right? Now, technically, I guess you're in front of me.
I mean, yeah.
To the front.
I would be to your left. Disclaimer,
Whatever.
I learned my left from my right in driver's ed. Judge me if you want. It makes...
You really learned your right from your left from driver's ed?
I always, honest, if I'm being completely honest with you right now, yeah. I know that sounds super slow of me, but... Yeah. So...
I didn't want to say anything, but hey, I'm talking about you in my head, not out my head.
It makes me quirky, right?
Oh, it does. Is that what it does?
That's what we're going to call it.
Anyway.
I hate her. The fuck?
Your mother.
Don't talk about her like that.
Tell her, say,
almost said her
hey. Hey. I just want you to know.
First
Butter's mom.
Butterfly
So,
has... Okay.
hey, babe.
We're going to have to start this bitch.
Okay, this is not a vibe session. We do actually have content for you guys. Once again. So, on this episode today, we will be talking about, or I would say this is the part 2 of Forced Situations. Y'all do know a couple episodes ago, I did a little short podcast episode on Forced Situations as my disdain for them because they're trash as fuck. And there will only be trash, and then I'm not Oscar, and I don't live in trash. I would try not to. I try to get trash people out of my life. Butter knows she's been out of there before.
So we're back. I'm gonna call my mother.
Anyway, Forced Situations.
I miss her. You know, I'm just, I have to go to the bathroom. No, I'm kidding.
Titties out. Either way. So we wanted to just basically what's the word? I don't want to necessarily say reinvent, but definitely just want to touch back on what I've talked about previously, and just expand a little bit for everybody that didn't get the first message, and or just needed a little bit more explanation on where I was coming from and what my point is, and I definitely want to add to that, of course.
I thought you were still going with your intro.
Oh no, it's fine. No, so that would be a long ass intro. No,
you know what I mean? I thought you were still.
It's okay.
But yeah. I hate starting what we're talking about today. That shit, when you were in grade school, and they're never start your shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it seems so direct, but cheesy too. Because
exactly, because it's
well, today I'm talking about.
Be like, bitch, nobody cares. You know what I mean? And that brings us into Forced Situations.
And that's on what? Period.
Mary had a little lamb. Actually, all her lambs. Oh my god.
So just to basically start off, I'll give you a quick example of a forced situation. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory with what a forced situation is in general. I mean, I think we all know what forced is. It's something that's not natural. Something that you have to put effort behind. Especially when you don't want to. You know what I mean? A lot of different times I had to do that in life, and I mean, either way.
It always led to shit. For the most part.
For the most part.
But everything I touch is gold, so that's a lie.
I pee gold, so what makes you think I
you should drink some more water.
Body armors and Gatorades and Kool-Aids.
Oh my god. The diabetical over here is screaming. Shit. I could never. Okay, that's one thing I couldn't do.
Fuck off. Thank you.
Whatever.
So, yes, for a situation, let's just say, I'm going to keep it very generic because I ain't nothing coming to my head, although I thought it was going to come to my head. Keep it very generic. Let's just say you're at work. You minding your business, you're doing what you need to do. You know everything that you need to do, every step, every paper, whatever needs to be filed, whatever customer needs to be called, whatever the case may be. Let's just say you're doing that. And I'm going to say one personal. Fuck all y'all niggas. Not just like y'all my niggas sometimes at the job that I work at. Y'all know who y'all are. Let's just say your boss tells you, go take the trash out. It's piling up in the back. And or, how about you go and build that couch over there? You being here, you know what? No. So, because you might hear this.
How about you go wipe that ass, bitch? Do what your damn self.
Basically, anything that you don't want to do. So, I mean, let's just say, Or, like, to give you another example, let's just say you in a relationship with a shorty. Y'all was feeling each other the first 2, 3, 4 weeks. And after a while, you know, you put dick in her chest. And then, boom, she's attached. And you just like, yeah, you bugging now. I really don't want this no more. But she's telling you that she'll come to your job, your house, your mom's house, your brother's house, your uncle's and your grandmother's house. Ooh. And she'll bust the windows out your car. Like, you know what I mean? And y'all still gonna stay together. So then you avoid drama and don't want your next girl or whomever to get beat up. That word. You try to stay in a relationship to appease her, so you don't want no smoke. But you're not in a relationship because you want to be in a relationship. You're in a relationship because you don't want no smoke.
Right thing to do.
So you're forcing yourself to be with somebody that you really don't want to be with. You know what I mean? For situations such things like that of that nature, things that are not organic, things that you really don't want to do, but sometimes you have to do in life just because life's compromised. That's the sad part about life. But we get into that on another episode.
We can relate that to like dieting too, dude. And I mean, I know a lot of people that train and they stick to their regimens religiously, but it's what they want to do, and it's nobody's decision except their own.
Yeah, you gotta want it for yourself in order for it to actually work and you get a positive result from it, which brings me to my next point, which is basically 8, and I say 8 strategically, 8 out of 10, or should I say 8 times out of 10, anything that's forced will never end. Anything that's forced will never end, and anything that's forced will never work at the very end.
Talk your shit.
And,
it's just like with me and all my failed dieting attempts. Let's stick on the topic here for a second. I honestly have done probably every diet in the book, and that's not because, listen, I'm a bad bitch. Okay, it's just I like to do that shit sometimes. Clean out your liver or whatever. But every time I did it, I was miserable. I hated it. I felt like I was being watched.
And why did you feel that way?
Because I was being forced to do it, not by anybody in particular, but just in general. It was just you don't want to do
yourself?
That. Yeah. Okay. But it's like, not really feeling this. Was never really happy with it. It's never sustainable. You know what I mean? That's why you got to make it into like a lifestyle, which you can relate back to, which is yet another forced situation. You know what I mean? Life should be organic. But if you make it into a lifestyle, something that you actually truly want, right? That'll be the organic growth behind that. But between lifestyling, you have to start somewhere. Sometimes in dieting, it's different though, because a lifestyle is sustainable. Lifestyle is like, you're not saying no to absolutely everything. A diet
on the flip side, strict, though, sometimes you have to force yourself in order to get what you want and or need in order for it to grow, because sometimes you can't really see the forest for the trees.
You need that push.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to be forced to do things. And granted, I necessarily don't like to be forced, but if it's something that's going to benefit me in general, I'm gonna have to do what I got to do until I get to where I need to be. Yeah. So that's the flip side of forced situations. That works. However, we're talking about how I don't like forced situations. I mean, but it goes back and forth, unbiasedly. Which that actually brings me to the next point of organic growth and forced growth. And that piggybacks off of anything that's really forced. In most occasions, it never really end up working, right? Yeah. So
it's like you're climbing up this big, you know what I mean, whatever the fuck. Only to be limited by a glass ceiling. You know what I mean? That's what a forced situation will be, because in reality you didn't give it the true opportunity to really flourish into what it's supposed to be, because you gave it an expectation.
Exactly. And that's on who? Medea. None slam.
I love that man whooping whatever the fuck.
You gotta be careful with those words, because you know how it is. You know how it is.
I love them all, okay?
Tyler, I know because you always working. And if you ever hear this, I'm ready to act. Tyler Perry.
Oh. No hate.
I'm ready to act. I'm just saying, if you got something coming up, you need a little somebody.
Listen.
Hit me up. Hit my DM. Hit my GM. My Gmail. That's that on that podcast 9@gmail.com. And or my personal Gmail, which I won't give out because I don't need y'all emailing me. Thank you. But to go back to organic growth versus forced growth, we're gonna first define organic. And we're going to go to the Googler for that, because sometimes not everybody gets my words you know.
Before we go into that, I like to sidetrack, guys. Have you guys seen the video where
You
it's
definitely like the sidetrack.
they're teaching the kids how to like say Google, so they're like G, G, ooh, right, whatever, and the kids go googly googly. Stop, because it's the funniest video I've ever seen, and I don't give a fuck if you don't look amused.
Everybody
right
knows my name.
Oh, yeah. Surprise! It's London Tipton.
Go.
Alright, tell me about organicism.
The Googler, they have multiple different definitions for it. And 9 times out of 10, you're probably the first one is probably going to pop up is something about organic food. Fuck all of that. We're not talking about that.
But we could be.
So we're going to skip to the 4th definition on the Wikipedia.
Shout out to Davidson, or whatever the fuck his last name is.
So, it reads, denoting a relation between elements of something such that they fit to... Denoting a relation between elements of something... Denoting... Oh, take 3.
Have you ever had a dream that you do?
Yay! Denoting a relation between elements of something such that... Please stop staring at me.
God damn it, I stopped staring.
No, we're just going to skip that. We're just going to skip that. I'm just going to go to a different, whatchamacallit.
Yeah,
Fuck everybody else. You know what? I need something that's actually going to make sense to the viewers.
Are you calling your viewers a little, delayed?
Mentally.
Ooh, y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard it here, okay?
Definitely getting cut out.
Listen. I'm going to steal these bloopers, and then I'm going to blackmail him.
This bitch? Please.
Tequila. I think that'll be my... Oh, this Casamigos bottle. Casamigos, yes.
Can we just discuss that Casamigos is disgusting? And it really don't do nothing for me.
So we're going to have a day where we, like, spend the day in the sun or the water or whatever. We're going to do,
sun.
like, buckets.
Last time I spent the day in the sun drinking and smoking with somebody, that bitch fell out.
We'll just drink, and I will fall out, first of all.
She fell the fuck out, and I was shocked. I was shook.
Listen.
I was like, whoa!
No, but we could get a bucket from Dollar Tree. Fill it with ice, put a bunch of fucking fruit in there.
I don't shop at Dollar Tree. I shop at Dollar Tree.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hold on, let's see.
You know what, you guys? We're not even going to look up the Google definition because it's going to give you a whole bunch of bullshit about science and food, and who has time? So basically, we all know what organic means, and we're relating it to relations, or should I say, public relations and or relations with people and everything. Obviously, you know what I mean, like that. Basically, organic. Once again, natural, something that's not forced, something that grows, something that you can actually, feel the freshness of because you know that it actually grew. It's something that you liked and loved to do. It's something that is...
It's something that you didn't put that glass ceiling on top of. It's something you didn't put an expectation. You just let it be.
Yeah, you just let it be.
For whatever it was.
And it is going to be what it's going to be.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right. And then breeds the disappointment and everything else when you put that expectation onto something that can really be no better than what they or it really is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But then people like to idolize people and look at things as for something that they're not. And they're upset when they find out that they're exactly who they never thought they would be. You know what I mean? Like,
and that is another conversation for another day. We can go deep into that.
Yeah,
honestly. But basically deriving off of organic and, the organic, see, it's not a word, but I got my own words. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Bam. With like we've been stated, like we previously stated, organic is growth. And organic growth for me is special. It is appreciated. And it's like you kind of got to work for something as opposed to just either A, doing something because and or B, giving something. And anything that you get quickly can be taken away from you quickly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Hence why I don't really like doing forced situations. We ain't Indian giving over. Oh shit. That is probably offensive. I am right. So I'm not even gonna explain myself.
Yeah.
But we not Indian giving over here. You know what I mean? You ain't taking shit back for me. This ain't Sweetie, and that ain't Quavo. I want my Bentley. Like
he said, I want my Bentley. It's in my name.
I'm just saying. So anything that is organic, you have a certain appreciation for it because it's something that grew, something that you've seen from a seed to now a flower.
It's also
you know
like not
I mean?
being like pulled out of you. It's more like you want to do that.
Yeah, and I really don't really see how people I don't understand how you can really grow in forced situations. I mean, other than seeing that this is what I don't want and
That's more
going
of
the
like
other
a
way.
scheming.
That's an alternative growth. You know what I mean?
People like to scheme and like to manipulate into getting what they want, when in reality the other person doesn't even notice that they're being. You know what I mean?
Meantime, in the green time, once you get what you want after you just schemed and plotted and doing everything else like that, you don't even know how to handle it because you didn't take the proper steps to get to where you are.
And to get to really know who or what you were trying to obtain.
But basically, you know, like I said, forced growth and organic growth, they're not in the same lane. Anything that's going to grow organically is going to grow strong. Anything that's going to grow forced is going to grow weak. And it's only going to grow weak because it doesn't have the legs to stand on. With being organic, you got the legs, you got the roots, you got everything from the start. Yeah. As opposed to, you know, forcing and skipping and, you know, going over or glossing over steps that you missed. And this is either in relationships, this is in life, this is in food, this is in planting.
It's like growing a plant,
farming,
right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like this is just in general.
It's like the beginning or the initial stages are so crucial, and it's things you can't even see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like when you plant a seed, you know, people always talking about, you know, plant your seed, or throw your, you know, bread in the water, it'll come back in 7. Exactly. You know what I mean?
The thing is, it's like how they got these popcorn artists out here, you know, like, you know, the rappers, singers, and stuff like that. The ones that, okay, they got a few followers. Oh, I can sing. Oh, I can act. Oh, I can rap. Not being able to really do so because you didn't really put in the work, the practice, or the perfection behind doing it. And that's why you get a lot of one-hit wonders. As opposed to how it used to be back in the day when you had to go to training camp, you had to have media training, you had to do certain camps that you had to go through to just structure yourself as an artist. You had a team behind you. You had to work out. You had to dance. You had to run. You had to do all this extra shit to be the best artist you can be, as opposed to now when you got niggas that just look good. You got bitches that just look good and that can sell a few whatever quick
and they're
singles.
Just saying what everybody wants to hear.
And they see why you have artists like B and J that has longevity. You got artists like J. Cole.
I feel like with him, I mean, not only
people that's getting it from the mud, you know what I mean? They're building it organically.
I feel like J. Cole as an artist really got to know his fans and really got, you know what I mean, and really poured himself into his music.
He put in that work.
Yeah, and like I feel like his mindset, although it may have changed a little, like you could say like Kevin Hart, he became something completely different than what he was because
I don't agree with that.
Well, I'm not saying it in a bad way because you need
No,
to
I know what
money.
you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I don't agree with that. I feel like he's the same person.
Right.
I just feel like publicly.
Does his work refer? You know what I mean?
Yeah, publicly and you know, as a public figure, period. Right. You have to do, especially trying to be mainstream. Well, he is mainstream, but you have to, you know, work the machine. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You have to follow the steps. You got to play the game.
But I also feel like when you completely put yourself into something, you know what I mean? Or
he did in his beginning years.
Yeah, but if you put it in forever and you're just you all the time, nothing will change that. I feel like that's how you're going to be super successful. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I honestly feel like J. Cole he definitely fell off a lot more recently, but he also hasn't released in forever. But his last fucking album was amazing. I mean, hands down, 10 out of 10. Would listen again, okay?
Exactly.
The fuck. Love.
But basically, end off of the forced and organic growth. Let's just say this: the age-old saying, you can give a man a fish. What the fuck was that saying again? You can give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day or a night. But if you teach a man how to fish, he will eat forever.
Boom.
You teach him, he's growing, he's learning. Exactly. It's organic, as opposed to you just giving him something. Force feeding.
You gotta work for it. You gotta start from the very beginning, and you can't miss. I shouldn't have clicked like that, damn.
That's fine. And it's everything. You know what I mean? That's everything. You have to really start from the bottom. Now, I mean, sometimes there are cases where you can start in the middle and or you can start basically close to the finish line and you might succeed because it's not like you can't backwards learn. You know what I mean? Right. You definitely can learn, but are you willing to learn?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I feel like that reminded me of like, I feel like there's just this idolization nowadays of coming from nothing. I feel like there's this like, You know what I mean? Like, I feel like...
They say you got to get it out the trenches to actually
Yeah, but
do
it's
something.
like, you know, with
not everybody
us growing up, and it's like, I'm going to make a life for myself. I don't want my children to get it out the fucking...
Get it out the mud. Now, I'm going to show you that work ethic that comes from the mud.
Hell yeah, and they're going to see that.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
definitely going to see both sides, but
family.
I don't need you doing it because I've done it for you to do something better than me.
Yeah, I'm going to plant the seed, and they're going to use the plant, but it's like...
You better put some
you
fucking
can
wood
make it
on
a
that
fucking
bitch.
tree. You know what I mean? This is... It's ever growing. You know
Honestly.
Success never stops.
115%.
But...
So to go into the next topic, or not necessarily topic, the next bullet point, it's basically when you're in a forced situation, because I know sometimes it's like I've stated previously on the previous episode, sometimes it's against your will, and sometimes you really just don't have no control over the forced situation you want to, that you're in. You have to know when to let go. That place is sometimes scary because it's not always familiar. That place is sometimes unknown because you've never been there before. But you definitely have to know what your breaking point is. And honestly, it's better sooner than later before you end up,
So with you saying that, would you put like a timeline on letting go? Like
everybody's different.
Right.
So I would say, not everybody has their own timeline. Being that everybody's different. Because what you can put up with, I can put up with, and what I can put up with, I'm damn sure you can't put up with.
Like one person's burden could end somebody else's life, you know what I mean, of like grief, but for them it's just a Tuesday.
Like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? I'm chilling. Like, I can deal with this. I know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like knowing when to let go is when you are really in your spirit and you know this is not for you. You shouldn't be doing this, especially if you're led by God.
Right.
He lets you know, like, if you don't know for certain, definitely go to him. He'll tell you, listen, nigga.
And you gotta go with an open mind, because a lot of the times people be going and they listen and they hear what they want to hear.
Yeah, you definitely can't say what if
they distort, like, you know what I mean?
God. Not at all.
Yeah. Even like it's so weird. All these like videos of like tarot readers coming up on like social media platform nowadays. It's become a thing. I see it all the time. You know what I mean? And they're like, take what resonates. No, you got to take the whole thing for what it is, because what? You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. I mean, I just feel like you know when you're tired. When you're sick and tired, you really sick and tired, and you'll be done.
And that's the most motivating thing in the world. When you're tired, man, I feel like you could conquer the world. I can conquer the world when I'm tired. You know what I mean? Be it physically, mentally, emotionally. I mean, I will go to no ends to get me to wherever the fuck I need to be, because this shit ain't it, and that's not me. You know?
115%. Not like I said. Sometimes when you gotta let go, you gotta be uncomfortable. Well, you don't really know how to let go, and you really don't want to let go because it's uncomfortable. But sometimes you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Uncomfortable sparks growth.
Exactly.
That's why you can never get complacent or comfortable with anything you do.
And it could really like break your heart to let it go, but sometimes it's the best thing. I was actually just reading this book, and it was basically, I didn't finish it yet, but it was basically saying like people love to go to like shrinks or like therapists, and they get all these self-help books and do this and that, and they want to figure out why things are happening to them and why their life is the way that it is.
Can't nobody else tell you what's going on inside of you but yourself.
But as soon as you accept the fact that they happen and that, you know what I mean, it doesn't matter why, it's about what you're going to do now. Because if you sit in that forever, you're going to be in this constant, cycle of self-pity, and you're never going to feel fulfilled until you find the root and get rid of the root. But it's like, it's there. You know what I mean? You can't just simply, go pick up a root from a tree and the tree's going to stand. Bitch, that's you, and you got to accept it sooner or later. Absolutely.
I mean, some people definitely stay in forced situations. This is just off my knowledge and who I know, and it's not everybody that I know, but people that's been through it. They definitely stay in forced situations because sometimes that's the only thing they know. Whether it be in this is what you brought up in, this is where you come from, or this is just what's been going on for the last 10 years in your life, and it's like, fuck it. I'm comfortable, or although I don't really want to do this affords me to do this, or this affords me to get this from somebody, or feeling, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, you can make that financial. You can also make that personal, too. You know what I mean? I remember we've had countless conversations, and you know what I mean? There can be people that they just haven't seen a certain side of life that you did, or haven't experienced a certain perspective that you have, and that's all that they know, so that's all they're ever going to be. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say that's all they're going to be. That's all they're ever going to be.
But it's going to be very hard for them to not be, It's kind of
that's
like
a mindset
having
that you have
like,
to change.
It's kind of like, honestly, because I've had this conversation with people before, and it's like, you can come from nothing and from a family that, you know what I mean? You could come from the most horrible place, you know what I mean? And have the most horrible influences, but you can still be, you know, a woman or a man that you are proud of. You can still, you can be like, listen, they do this, and that. I'm at an age that I understand what they do, and I also understand that that's not what I want to be, and that it's wrong. You know what I mean? But it's really hard for you to break that curse and fix. You know what I mean? Like, it's just honestly something. But that's carry on.
But that's something that you have to heal in yourself so you can.
But not a lot of people do. If you look at
not a lot of
people
people do
life,
because people don't know how to,
right.
And also some people just can't identify what's going on.
Correct, but I feel like also everybody has a choice. You know what I mean? I feel like in whatever situation you may be, if it's like, you know what I mean, it's a pretty fucked situation or whatever the case it may be, you're going to have a moment where, like, your emotion or your logic is going to trump your emotions. I feel like emotions are so much stronger than logic any day.
Right.
But I feel like you're always going to have a point where maybe you don't know the whole thing, but you know. Like, we know right from wrong. As human beings, we have that distinction. We know.
We know right from wrong. But before you continue, I definitely would say most decisions with any and everybody they come from within, subconsciously.
Right.
Whether you're hurt, whether you're healed, whether you have trauma, whether you have pain, whether this affected you in this way, so you're the product of your past, and you're the product of the trauma experience and everything else like that.
Right.
Those heavily influence people's choices.
Right.
So, granted, we know right from wrong, but is your head clouded to where it's like, I can't even tell what is what?
And it could get to that point where it's that bad.
Now, I'm not saying that's for everybody, but I'm just saying, to offer
like
the other perspective.
Advocate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know what I mean? Some people really do, like, some people are fucked up in the head.
Oh, yeah, and this is not, this is not including people that do have, like, like mental illness and everything else that may come with that. Because you know what I mean, you're not really.
Yeah, but not even including mental illness. I'm just saying, like, in general. Now, a lot of
right. I feel like in general, I feel like with your point of view, they would get to a point where they are so traumatized and they have so much hurt that they're now into a state, you know what I mean, that isn't the right state of mind.
And once again, once you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when that'll spark that change. You know what I mean? Sometimes people got to really identify. And I mean, I know sometimes it's hard to self-reflect and to really dig deep because there's certain things that you hide from your own self that you don't want to admit because
some people die like that. Like, some people die before they do that.
Absolutely.
And I know, like, at least with me, with these, for a while now, that's what I've been going through, and it's crazy because it's just like, it is the most uncomfortable, the ugliest thing I think you could ever do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, it's not, like, I get it.
That's because you're at your most rarest and rawest form.
Yeah, for everyone to see.
And it's so deep. It's so deep on an energy and spiritual level, not even just like physical. Like, it's so deep because you really are touching your soul at that point.
Like, you feel it in your body. Like, you know you ever felt shit like in your bones? That shit is crazy.
In your bones, in your stomach, in your gut.
Yeah, everything in your chest. Like, what's going on? But yeah, man, I really feel like some people die without doing that. And it just, like, baffles me because as uncomfortable as it is, like, you're really, like, clarity, like, new perspectives are everything. You know what I mean? And just, like, I don't know. But I totally just lost my train of thought. I was getting to a really
Listen, some people, as we all know, aren't taught. And that's sometimes, and most times, the products of people, being their parents or whomever their guardians are, they weren't taught to be in tune with your body and yourself, your mind, your spirit, God, and everything else like that. They're not taught to be self-aware. They're not taught to reflect on themselves. And the natural human instinct is to deflect. Look it up.
The one thing I could, like, counter with that, though, is, like, although everything you're saying is 1,000% true, we're, like, right now we're referring to, like, children and their mom and their dad or whoever their parental guardian
We're referring to people not having the proper tools to navigate life.
Right, and we're right now referring to family, like you were just explaining to me, right? But it's like, a lot of the times people, like, if, for example, you look at, it's mom, it's pop, they're not a person. Like, it took me a long time to see my parents for people
before
who
you finish that thought, I don't even know what fucking backing track this is. That shit is trash as fuck. Like, come on now.
But, like, anyway, you know what I mean? But children, although they're young and they're heavily influenced by, who they're being raised by, that's not all that they're limited to. like they still have their own lives and they're still out paving a way for themselves before they even know it. You know what I mean? So I mean, you learn a lot outside. You learn a lot when you step outside of your house. You know what I mean? From going to school, from going out, from making certain like friendships. You know what I mean? Like you learn a lot, and you learn what you want to do and who you want to be and what you don't want to be. You know what I mean? And you can see good out there because there's good out there. You know what I mean? And you go home and you see bad. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's kind of a choice there, or there's kind of like, and although that's all they know, like they see it.
Are you talking about as a child?
Yeah, and then as growing, it's a
Most
growing
kids
person.
don't have the intellectual ability to
As a growing person.
You know, as a growing person, for you to reflect on yourself is to look back and see
Yeah.
what's right and what's wrong. But what I'm saying is, as a child, you can't really blame kids. I mean, I think I was on the other side of that because I was a kid that knew right from wrong and knew what to follow and I knew what felt good and what didn't. And I know what, you know what I mean, to not follow the pathology, or at least the full pathology of some of my upbringing. So what I'm saying is, you definitely, I feel like any adult has a choice about what they want their life to be.
Right.
So definitely as an adult, once you get that intellectual capacity, look back on and try to figure out what your current issues are and what you can fix, what you can't fix, what you need help on, what you need help with.
But this
So
is more about like maturity and it's more about being.
Right, this is what I'm saying. So I feel like as an adult, I mean, some people have excuses, but it ain't too many excuses people can have to, not be there. Especially if you're in like your 30s, 40s, 50s. Right. But as a kid, I give you a little bit of a pass because you don't know.
Exactly.
You only know what you're taught.
And that's true. That's absolutely true. But I'm like, with me, I'm referring to like as a being in itself. You know what I mean? Like, if you really stop to think about it, and you like really stop and really fucking thinking about it, like you as who you are has always been the same. Mm-hmm. No matter what you knew, how old you were, you have always been you. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So it's like,
especially for old souls.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, like, I just feel like, don't you sometimes feel like you're still like that little kid sometimes? You're still that scared kid deep down inside. That's still who you are. You know what I mean?
In certain situations.
And I'm not saying that's making you as like a weak person.
No.
But like,
we're talking spiritual.
Yeah.
No, I get that. In certain situations, yes. But in a lot of situations, being that I am who I am now and I'm an adult and I actually, I mean, I've really self-reflected all my life. I'm a Virgo. I overthink everything and I overanalyze everything.
And I'm a Cancer. I ignore shit till it blows up.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I analyze everything. Like, what could I do better? What is this the best outcome I could have got? But as an adult, when I was able to look back, I, got the chance to, heal a lot of shit from my past. I was still hurting inside of me.
Right.
That made me have certain mindsets and certain perspectives and certain disdains for people and certain things that I had to, look back on and heal so I can, like, not feel it, because it never was a great feeling, but I had to do what the fuck I had to do.
I think that's necessary too, because honestly, with stuff that does happen to you in your life, that, you know what I mean, you remember detail by detail. It's never because they're good. Well, sometimes, but rarely.
Absolutely.
I feel like that's a certain type of grief. You know what I mean? I honestly feel it's like people do grieve those things, and until you're able to close the door on it, you're gonna grieve forever. You know what I mean?
Exactly, because when you look at it and it makes you feel bad, or if it makes you feel disgusted or whatever, you like, damn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like if I'm gonna wait forever to say, I'll wait till tomorrow for this to be better. I'll wait. No, bitch. The time is now. You know what I mean? So that's when you really gotta know how to like shut your emotions off. Just, it's fine.
Absolutely.
You just need to know how to do that, because I feel like if you don't know how to shut off your emotions, you can't survive in this world. Hands down.
Absolutely.
Because some shit just.
No, that's when you gain self-control, and I think everybody definitely needs that.
Definitely. Be able to look yourself in the mirror and be like, bitch, settle the fuck down. And you settle the fuck down, okay? Because what? I'm a Jedi. Not to be confused with the Gemini. We don't like them. Period.
Do you feel like people being forced to, be a certain way, even if it's against their will or whatever the case, or maybe whatever case. Do you think that being that that's the only thing that they're being taught and or it's the only thing they know and that's what they're being, what they are seeing?
It's okay. Regroup.
I'm high as shit. So wait.
I know, this shit is
What
gas.
they're seeing, being that that's the only thing that they're seeing, do you feel like that can contribute to being in a forced situation that you don't want to be, or being stuck in forced situations because that's the only thing you know and you can't really get out of them, although they feel bad? Look at God. Thank you, Jesus. I was high.
So how you feel? No, here I am. So how you? All right. So you being brought up a certain way that isn't technically right.
Right.
And then do you
basically learning to force yourself to do things that you don't want to do
just because of being comfortable or being, and I can
because
relate
that's
that
quote,
to so many things right now, dude. It's not even fucking funny.
Well, that's what the question was for.
Okay, so like, let's see. I can relate it to a lot. I can relate it to one thing right now, but I feel like it'll be extremely controversial, so I don't feel like I should say it.
Just say it.
But it's kind of, no, like, honestly, I feel like growing up in, like, maybe, like, a religious household, you know what I mean? Sometimes when children feel like they were choked with their religion of their parents.
Absolutely.
I mean, me as a believer growing up, that was my biggest doubt that I feel like I ever, like, felt, you know what I mean? Like, as a Christian, being a kid, I feel like when you're a Christian, you're tribulated and you're child and you're all the time.
Right.
That's just what being a Christian is.
Right.
But, it's cool. Anyway, but that was one of my biggest things. But then it's like, to feel like that, like, as that kid that doesn't see that other perspective and hasn't really met God really like that face to face, I think it's a horrible feeling, you know what I mean? And, like, sometimes that's when the whole black sheep
thing
comes into play.
Outcast.
You know what I mean? When they're like, they're growing up, they're saying you're going to be doing this, X, Y, Z, and you cannot ask me questions because this is what it is. And it's crazy because me now being a grown woman, or, getting there, you know what I mean? I'm still learning every day, but me having a different perspective that I had now than I did when I was a child is like, I didn't know you're doing X, Y, Z, whatever, because I said so, and it's just, that's what it is. But it's like, I never knew what faith was, you know what I mean? I never really knew what it is I believed in. So I was a kid who grew up, and I asked so many questions, and I'm not going to say I rebelled, but I pushed the envelope, you know what I mean? I'm like, why am I doing what I'm doing?
Definitely
like, I want to, no, not even that.
You dyed your hair black.
Honestly, I've never,
wore black lipstick,
like, per se
black
rebelled.
nails,
It's just, I think it's my personality, too.
In 5th grade.
No. Like, never did anything crazy. But in rebel, I mean, I'm not afraid to ask questions. I'm not afraid to be a skeptic because I deserve to know what I'm believing in and what I'm worshiping in. You know what I mean?
You got it, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
so, like, before I met God, I thought a certain way, and I was like, I don't think it should be like this, whatever. And it makes you resent it in a way. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that can go for people, too. Just in general, you know what I mean? That can go with you growing up in a terrible household and, resenting your parents for all the bad things they did to you and never wanting to be like them, and boom, that's exactly who I am. What the fuck?
Right.
That's because you never amended it.
A lot of people never heal it. They run away from it so much that they run into it. And then
into a fucking mirror.
And then they become it.
I know people that have cried to me, and all their sob stories. I never want to be like.
I found that on y'all.
My mom, my pop. I never want to be like them. Never. You know what I mean? I've heard people like spill their guts out, and then it's like when you it's crazy because when it's not even you to say, but like when they take that moment, they take a step back and they're like, shit, I am exactly like. You know what I mean? You did everything you wish you never would. And I think it's so fucked up. And I think you basically forced yourself
to do that subconsciously because you're too busy running away.
When you could have just, been a better person.
I feel like...
Yeah, not that you're a bad person, but it's like...
Right, exactly.
Come on,
Exactly. So how do you feel people that, do stuff like that? Or have, relating problems or situations?
Can you explain stuff like that to me?
Explain. How do you feel people... have relating situations such as, running away from their problems so far that they run into their problems, subconsciously forcing themselves.
I think it's
forcing themselves to run away, and they basically run into, so it's their fault.
Right.
How do you feel like they can heal themselves to, not do that and actually live a regular, normal, fulfilling, full life without trying to run away from shit?
Well, honestly, like me, I could say, and from personal experience, it's like you can run so fast and you can try to get away from it so much, but once you realize that life is about making a 180 instead of a 360, your problems are gonna dissipate quickly. You know what I mean?
I feel that.
Because
for me,
with the 180, there's always gonna be an end. You know what I mean? With 360, there never will be.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna run myself into the ground feeling unfulfilled. You know what I mean? Feeling like I didn't live the life that I should have lived, or feeling like I didn't live my life. Because when you live trapped in emotion, you're not living your life.
Facts. For me, I feel like you can heal the best way, and this so much. It's like meditation, and this is before I say what I'm about to say. This is meditation. A lot of talking to yourself, trying to get in tune with your body, and your higher self, and God and Orishas, and basically your highest self, your highest form of yourself. I feel like once you study that, meditate to that, manifest, and you get there, and then you get to actually dig deep and heal. I feel like you gotta listen to your heart, your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul. And listen to what it's telling you.
Yeah.
The gut honest truth about yourself and whatever situation that you're in.
It's when you get in tune with all of your
You gotta
beings.
break all of that to pieces and build it back up. Because now you know the raw gut, honest, dirty truth. Mm-hmm. And you can now identify it and figure out ways to mend and fix it.
Exactly.
That way, you won't have to run from everything.
Exactly. Because we're vessels.
You have to actually sit exactly with vessels.
We're destined to break, but it's like we have to reach into our souls to be able to really,
know
because
how
our
to
soul is
rebuild.
what's gonna, it's gonna protect us. It's the thing that it's the one that it's the good guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got the angel, the devil on your shoulder. Your soul it wants you to live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Help you find answers, and it'll clear your mind. You know what I mean? So you won't have to stay in that. And I mean, on that note, we can end this episode.
Yeah.
This
is. Talk to y'all.
It's right. Nah, you're right.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. This is the That's That on That podcast, #TTOT podcast. As everybody knows, I'm your boy, Pastor JB. Y'all can reach me on all the socials at That's That on That podcast. Just type it in, you'll find it. And I have my co-host of the night. We have to bring it back to the grocery store.
Holy shit.
Blue bonnet.
First of all, 40-inch butterfly. Yo. I'm so kidding. Please.
I believe that's a dragon. Just like your dragon breath.
And he mad. He
this
stay
is
mad.
whatever episode
These bitches
this
stay
is
mad.
going to be.
Beijos.
And I think we signing off for the night. Deuces. Hold up. But wait, before you go, be sure to like, drop a comment, follow, smash that subscribe button, and follow us on all platforms at That's That on That podcast, #TTOT.